Hello everybody. So today we're now going to check out all of the new biomes and the changes that they've made there. So to start off, there's the seed if you do want to look at this world, if you like it, and we're just going to wander around a bit. We might cut off at different parts, but yeah, so they did make changes to the actual generation, so you're going to see stuff like this where we've got the forest and we've got really nice big plateau type hill, as well as like in the swamp they've actually changed the color of the swampland and adjusted some of the generation. So like this area here is a lot more swamp like. There's all the water in between and lily pads all over, as well as adding some of the new flower generation into the swamps and other biomes. And then one thing I like is these extreme hills over here are I actually like the way the hills are shaping. Like we got this nice big rock of a hill in the center here, part grass, part stone. One of the things they did change in extreme hills is you'll actually now have more of these areas that have stone covering, and there will be like you'll actually find areas with a large amount of gravel covering. The third thing that they've changed to all biomes actually is that snow can actually generate at certain heights in biomes. So as you can see, this area here is grass on some parts, but then some of these higher elevation parts have snow covering instead. So that's just a nice new feature that they've added in to make it so the large hills and such in biomes actually, well, they appear a little more realistic. So anyway, we're going to be wandering around a bit, and we'll probably cut back and forth a bit as we find and explore new biomes. It's quite an edge here. Huge hill right on the edge of this taiga biome. So yeah, I'll keep searching around, and when I find some new things for us to look at, then I'll be right back to you. Okay, and so here's one of those new biomes, the rude forest. Oh, this music is loud. Oh, my settings didn't change. Okay, so the changes in this rude forest is we actually have some larger trees. I think they use the spruce logs for this, yes. As well as some of the large mushrooms will spawn. There's a lot more coverage, so the block light, as you can see, is actually pretty low in some of these areas. Or the sunlight, sorry. Like we get down into here, and unfortunately it doesn't seem like... It seemed like they were going to have a lot more coverage, but... from what they were talking about, but right now it's, there's a few areas that get down to, like here's a spawnable area for mobs and such. I was hoping they would actually have a lot more area. Right now it's pretty decent. I like the new changes. Oh, this is a pretty dark area right here. But yeah, so the idea is a little bit more thick of a foresty area and a little bit more dangerous for walking through. And of course, like I said, there's a new source of getting some of these blocks from the large mushrooms. I do not know if that means that you'll be able to grow them like regular in here, but I don't think you would, just because it's the whole daylight issue and planting the mushrooms. So yeah, and this is what it looks like from above, a lot more cover for the ground. In fact, you can pretty much stay up above the trees the entire time in this biome. So yeah, and we'll keep moving on to the next biome, and we'll see what it is. Alright, and as I was saying before, this, as you can see, is a mountain that is pretty much covered a layer of gravel instead of grass, so it's a lot of gravel, which means that there's like 20 times as much gravel as you ever want, whereas before it would be just a little bit more than you'd want. And there's, yeah, so you can see like there's gravel down on the beaches again, and even the, if we go down, the bottom of the oceans is actually entirely covered in a layer of gravel. So yeah, they have, this is the gravel update, so. Okay, and on to the next destination. Here's another nice, interesting area to look at. This is some of the extreme hills, and we actually have stone beaches, and a lot more of this crazy cliff floating terrain than we were used to seeing in the past, the previous biome generator. So there's a lot more cliffs, a lot more variation, and really extreme hills. And this is just on the standard setting. We do not have the the new setting enabled. We'll show that last though, because that will require generating a new world. Okay, here is one of the new terrain generation features. We actually have a taiga biome, as you can see up in the corner, but it is a biome entirely without snow, as compared to previously they always would spawn with snow. So that's another little variation, so you can have the nice big spruce trees, but you don't have all of the snow everywhere, which I know that's what some people like, so it's obviously a requested feature, and that's a very straight hill that is surprisingly naturally generated. Wow. But yeah, so they also have the non-snow taiga biomes, which is a new addition. Okay, and let's go on to the next destination. So here I was flying over the ocean, and I just realized we almost missed something. They now have a deep ocean. So let's get our way down. As you can see, you're sinking fast, and it keeps going all the way down to as low as Y30. So there we go. Really deep. And actually, let's grab, where is it? It's one of these potions. Night vision. Okay. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, it could stand real deep. I've actually seen there's some generation issues where structures such as strongholds and other structures that should actually sometimes spawn at the bottom of these oceans by accident, as far as I can recall. But yeah, it gets down so deep, pretty much. If you don't have something to help you up, you're dead down here. And okay, and so yeah, so now the deep ocean is a new one that you can see. So anyway, on to the next biome we can find. Okay, a long distance away now, we've finally ran into something new. This is the Extreme Hills Plus biome, and it's Extreme Hills plus trees. Yeah, there's not much of a difference besides getting some birch and spruce trees, so not really a too different biome, but it does help for some of these large hills where you have more than just big bare hills all over the place. Also, kind of note, they did say they removed a lot of the really large oceans. There's still really large oceans. I guess they're just not as often now. There are, however, a very large amount of these roofed forests. They're everywhere. That and plains. I think there just might be only two temperatures of biomes in my world. Okay, I keep on searching, and when I find more of the new biomes, we'll get back. And finally, we have actually run into one of the new biomes, the Savannah Biome. So they actually use the jungle trees, kind of little bendy, curvy, and a little bit more of a brown colored grass. This is a dry area. The savanna biomes, if I remember correctly, are one of the few biomes where you can actually find horses. So there's now 2 different types of biomes that have horses naturally spawned in. That'd be the savanna and the savanna and the plains biome like before. So, yep, not much different though. You know, a lot of grass, a lot of little jungle bendy trees, but they actually don't grow any different. If you grow a jungle tree here, it's only the naturally generated trees that are like this. So yeah, there's the savanna biome, and now I think we're running out of new biomes to explore. We do need to find the mesa biome, but I have not come close to even seeing one yet. So, onward. Okay, so I wanted to show one thing at least. The dirt that we were looking at that does not grow grass on it is actually a feature of the savanna biomes. So there's actually these areas where you'll find there are no grass on the ground. There is no grass on the ground, and so that's what that's where these blocks come into play. I still haven't seen the forest type they have with the new podzol grass. So that and the mesa biome I think are the last 2 to look at before we go. And here is one of the features that we are looking for. We have the part of apparently it's part of a taiga just called a mega taiga. So there's larger taiga trees. There should be some of these, yeah, right around here. There's some that are 4 instead of just 1 block. Then we've got some of this podzol on the ground. And we also have these little boulders made out of the mossy cobblestone, so they go in a little ways. And so those are some of the features that you can find now in this part of the terrain generation. Well, this seems to be a very large number of ferns, but yeah, not much of it here. So, but yeah, that's what we're looking for that. Now we just need to find the mesa, and actually I also realized there's supposed to be some something with the ice that we haven't seen yet. So we need to still look around to see if we can find the structure. It's supposed to be in some ice plains or something that spawns with the compressed or hardened ice or whatever. So anyway, we'll see what we find next. Alright, so here is the Mesa and Mesa Plateau. So at the bottom we just have a large amount of sand, some pockets of water and whatnot. But as we get up higher, here I'll show you where we are on the coordinates for our seed. So as we get up higher, we actually have all these different striped colors, and this is all just the hardened clay blocks. And actually this is all hardened clay blocks. So yes, there is a very large amount of hardened clay here. Much better. So there's a lot of hardened clay, and there's these very interesting patterns that I thought for a second it was a rendering issue, but like a generation issue, but I don't know. It looks like it's intentional, especially with some of these colored spots along there, almost if something got dragged through the sand. But yeah, lots of dead bushes, a lot of hardened clay, and if you find one of these, you're pretty much, you'll never need clay again. Well, hardened clay, I should say. If you want regular clay, you'll probably still have to go looking for that. Probably be harder to find now with the oceans having all gravel too. But yep, so this is the Mesa platform biome, or plateau biome. So now we just need to go and find one of the what do you call it? Yes, the ice, whatever. It's the ice plains. I don't know exactly what they call it, but there's a biome in the ice plains now. Okay, here it is, rendering in the distance. There's some sort of ice pillars. We got ice plane spikes. That's what it is. Okay. So yeah, this is that special ice block they have now. Let me see what it is again. The packed ice. So apparently they spawned this area with a ton of these spikes of ice sticking out of the ground everywhere. And as far as I know, that's the only way to get it at this point. I don't think there's a crafting recipe for it. So, we got huge spires of ice. It is not a renewable resource, and these are really difficult to find. I went through a lot of ice plains biomes before finding this one. So, I also have the coordinates are up in the corner if you want to check it out. Here again is our sea, so that if you want to check out this world and all of the biomes that I found in it, just watch through the video for the coordinates for that part of the world, and you can check out the biomes for yourselves. So, and on to the last final change. We are going to use the new biome generator type. Okay. So, in the create world option as world type, the newest one is our amplified setting. It says it's just for fun, requires a beefy computer, so we'll see how well it works for us. It might take a little bit longer to load everything than it normally would. But this is supposed to be a setting where the full 255 blocks height is actually used for the settings, and yeah, so here's a little bit of the beginning of what the kind of generation we'll see. We've got the edge of a desert here, just a regular desert is all it says, but we got these huge columns of sandstone. Oh, I was hoping this is all floating sand. Huge column of sandstone sand going up all the way to the tip here. We've got up as high as Y200. We've still got sand from the desert. And we've got the gigantic mountains over here made of sand and sandstone. So yeah, it's the same, pretty much same biomes as we'd find otherwise, except everything is amplified to be, well, huge, immense, enormous, amazing. See, as the cloud level's down here, and we've got all this stuff up way above the clouds. Got a sky pig. Come here, pig. Whee! And there he goes. Very dangerous too, it seems. During the day there's a lot of dark areas, and getting a ton of lag spikes from just rendering in the world. I guess that'll happen when you're trying to run fraps at the same time. But yeah, so that should be it for the biome changes as far as I know. If you know anything else, just suggest it to me and I'll see if I can do a wrap-up video afterwards. The second video with all of the biome changes, if you didn't notice, is actually 13 week 36B, because they actually had to update the generation because the ice spikes and the mesas didn't actually generate in. The plateaus would generate in some parts of it, but none of the hardened clay. So you have these vast areas of nothing. Luckily, the 36B was released before I had to record the part with the mesa and the ice spikes, so they were able to fix it before I needed to show you guys. But this video will be up later the same day as the previous one. And I hope you guys enjoyed this snapshot review. I hope you guys are excited for 1.7 when it finally comes out. I know I am. I'm planning on not updating the main world until they have a stable version, just because I know that they have some of the changes are not finalized. and I don't want to have any issues with world generation in our world until that happens. But for now, we'll just not explore any farther than we already have, just so that we can kind of keep the world generation to a minimum, so we'll have a better time finding some of this stuff. Now, if you guys want to switch to, say, an amplified world type, we can do that. I could probably just go in and change the level information so that we have a different generator without having to wreck anything. But anyway, again, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys next time.